So on Tuesday night, our reporter Conor McMorrow went out to Dublin Airport and witnessed flights arriving in with both a group of Spanish students and a flight landing from Lanzarote with lots of people on board. Well, his report had a massive impact and he's back there at the airport again for us tonight. Conor, how are you? Just to say, what's the activity like there tonight?
Miriam, when we were here on Monday night, we met holidaymakers coming from places like Lanzarote, and as you'll remember, most of them didn't wish to be identified or talk on camera. Tonight, there are guarded checkpoints on the approach roads to the airport, and as you can see, the place is particularly quiet. There are about 100 flights in and out of Dublin at the moment. That's down from between 600 and 650 in normal times, and most planes are about 2/3 empty at the moment. So passengers are down a massive 95% compared to this week last year.
And those planes that are landing, Conor, where are they coming from?
Today, for example, we've had domestic flights from Corry and Donegal and international flights from places such as Dubai, Istanbul, Amsterdam and London. And tonight, the last two flights are due in. We don't know how many people are going to be on those flights or if they're holidaymakers, but we do know one of them is an Aer Lingus flight from Lanzarote, the other is a Ryanair flight from Tenerife. And finally, it's important to point out that anybody currently travelling is not breaking any law, Miriam.
OK, Conor, thanks once again for going to the airport for us. Eoghan, Corry, what do we know so far about the 400,000 people? Right, we know they'd holidays booked last year, they rolled them forward to this year. Are they ever going to get to go on them? And what about money? Will they get their money back, or is that gone?
The big booking season normally is January. Everybody was anticipating, or the industry was anticipating, that would shift to April. April was going to be the new January. It now looks like going back on to July. What is interesting, Miriam, is that the two major airlines serving Ireland, Ryanair and Aer Lingus, have very ambitious schedules in place. They're all full. There's a little bit of trimming in recent weeks, but they're ready to take to the sky when things are clear for them to do so.
New research out today showed the devastating impact this entire situation has had on our airports, particularly Dublin Airport.
We are very disconnected. Eurocontrol produced their data today of 40 countries within or right across Europe compared to 2019. Ireland is bottom of that chart. We've done more to disconnect than any other country. Our travel restrictions have been sort of allowing flights and telling passengers not to travel. But we are now at a stage where, and Conor's numbers would be weekly numbers, we're now at a stage of about 12 less flights a day out of Dublin Airport, at a stage where bits of the economy might not work because we're now at almost the basics of what we need to stay connected. And the outrage has grown, and the outrage has been misdirected, in my view.
It's probably the biggest domestic home industry, tourism, about 160,000 people working it and hospitality. Is this year a write-off?
It can recover quickly. This is an industry that's used to ice storms, to things like the foot and mouth way back, to things that disrupt it. And when it gets disrupted, it can recover very, very quickly. The product is in place, and really important to keep the shape of all the product and to keep the aviation lift in there. We'll probably see massive seat sales to try and get it restarted again. The real problem is it's not going to be government policy or indeed the aviation industry. It'll be the consumer will decide whether they have the confidence to go again.
What about the people who left the country for a few weeks or months to hotter places? Are they worried about getting back home?
I'm getting phone calls from people who locked down, had the option of locking down in Tenerife or in Dublin, and went and decided to lock down in a warmer place. They haven't been publicising it because the outrage has been such that everybody's out of the country. In a normal year, we would have about 80,000 people wintering out, and mainly retired people, people like that with second homes. It's much higher this year. It's very hard to put a number on it. But the number of flights, the reason that there was a lot on that Lanzarote flight on Tuesday night is because there are fewer and fewer flights back from those places. And a lot of Irish people beginning to say, I need to get back now, because it's not just our government policy. All over Europe, there's a great sense of things going the wrong direction. PCR tests required by Spain. Portugal tonight is in the position we were 2 weeks ago, at the very highest rate in the 14-day cumulative.
Eoghan, as ever, thanks so much for coming in.
Always a pleasure.